If this file has reached you, it means I didn't make it to the end of the road. My name isn't important right now. What matters are the 7 photos I took at 7 different stops in ancient Rome, and each one contains something I still can't believe I saw with my own eyes. I thought I was just a passing visitor, a ghost walking the streets with a camera hidden beneath my clothes. I didn't know back then that Rome was looking at me as... The first thing I heard before I saw anything was the sound. The clamour of the vendors, the rattle of carts over cobblestones, the scent of bread and spices choking the alleyway. I stood in a dark corner between 2 sacks of grain and raised my camera with caution. The click it made was louder than I had expected. I snapped the shot and hurried away, but when I viewed the photo later, I found a shadow standing at the very edge of the frame, facing directly toward me. I told myself it was just a coincidence. A crowded market. It's natural for someone to be facing that way. I thought the massive crowd would be the safest place. I entered, the sound deafening. Thousands of people chanting in unison. The sand on the arena floor was stained with a dark colour I dared not examine too closely. Men fought one another in the ring with swords, where the only way to survive was to kill. Thousands filled the stands, as if this spectacle were their only source of entertainment. I climbed to a vantage point and photographed the sheer scale of the place. But when I inspected the photo, the shadow was there again, this time much closer, in the row directly beneath me. He was the only one whose face was turned toward the camera, not the arena. I realised then that he knew exactly about the camera. I fled the Roman amphitheatre, gripped by fear, and headed in the opposite direction. I walked toward what they call the District of Palaces, a place, it seemed, for the merchants and the wealthy of this city. The palaces were towering and beautiful, like works of art, featuring lush green gardens and serving maids. I also noticed the sheer number of guards at every corner. They were fortifying this part of the city. I tried to sneak into the area and found a small opening between 2 columns where I captured a photo of the marble palace facade. While I was focused on the image, I felt as if someone was right beside me. Not behind the camera this time, but within 2 steps of where I stood. I assumed it was a guard, that I had been caught and there would be no escape. I turned around but found no one there. Yet the air had changed. It had turned cold, despite the heat of the day. I knew then that the man in the black cloak was stalking me, closer now than ever before. I don't know who he is, or why he follows me everywhere. I left the district of the wealthy, my head filled with the mysterious shadow man I had seen at the market and the Roman amphitheatre. I couldn't stop thinking about him. I entered a narrow alley wedged between mud brick houses, where laundry hung overhead, blocking out the sun. I snapped a photo of a half-open door and heard the sound of children laughing inside. For the first time, I felt a sense of relief. I even laughed at myself for being so on edge. But as I was leaving the alley, I caught sight of that same shadow. He was standing this time by the door of the neighbouring house, his back toward me, as if he were speaking to someone inside. He didn't move, but I recognised him by the way he stood. This isn't a coincidence. Not twice in different places, and now here in this humble neighbourhood. Headed out to the city's outskirts, where fields and farmers lay under the midday sun. I captured a picture of a farmer harvesting his wheat, a scene that should have been peaceful. But the farmer suddenly stopped his work, looked up, and stared directly at where I was standing among the trees. He uttered a word in an ancient language I couldn't understand, yet the tone was a clear warning. I ran from there without taking another shot. I found some warriors training near the city walls and photographed them from a distance while hidden among the trees. The sound of clashing swords rang out like an alarm. One of them stopped suddenly, even though I hadn't made a sound, and looked directly at my hiding spot. He shouted something to the rest of the group, and they all turned toward me at that exact instant. I realised I was out of time. The last photo I have isn't of a location, it's of a shadow standing at the entrance of the alley where I was hiding, the same shadow from the first day at the market. Now I know I haven't been alone throughout this journey, not for a single moment. If you receive this file, it means the camera survived longer than I did. And if you see the same shadow in your photos, don't keep shooting, close the camera immediately and leave.